The Lord's my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. These were the words of prayers of Daud or David, also known as King David, who became one of the most outstanding kings in the history of Israel, including Judah. These words have become so lively and vivid, and indeed indispensable in today's world, especially when we hear about so many people dying every single day, perhaps every single hour. Two plane disasters, one of which was perhaps accidentally shot, killing too many people, while the other accidentally was confronted with a situation which caused devastation in South Korea very recently. Notwithstanding these tragic incidents, I crave leave to recall certain individuals who played decisively important roles for their countrymen and women, but also for the world communities as a whole. Very recently, the former Prime Minister of India, Manmohan Singh, died, leaving many memories of different types and kinds, as he himself was a well-experienced politician who thought much about his own countrymen and women, and also endeavored to introduce his country to the rest of the world in the recent past, during the last and the current millennia. But I also mournfully recall one of the greatest leaders of the world, I'm referring to none other than late President James Carter, also known as Jimmy Carter. He visited our country when I was a teenager, accompanied by his charming wife, Rosalind Carter. But this was not the first link of his family to our country. In the mid-1960s, his beloved mother, Lillian Carter, came and worked in this country as a trained nurse, even in the field of psychiatry, at a place not very far from today's Mumbai, or also known as Bombay. Late President Jimmy Carter played a decisively important role, or I should say, decisively important roles in plural, when he visited our country as early as in the year 1978 to 79. I, to my utter regret, cannot exactly recall the very moment, to my utter shame and distress. Yet, I was a young teenager in my mid-teens in those days. Although I never had the honor and the pleasure of meeting him personally, yet viewing the live telecasting of his and the speeches he delivered in our country, I remember that bright smile on his face all the time. Although I was young during his presidency, to the best of my belief and remembrance, from the year 1977 till 1981, he, to the best of my comprehension, played decisively important roles in order to enhance and preserve peace in the world. I'm neither an American citizen, nor have I ever been to the United States, or even on any part of the American continent. Nonetheless, I share this very day and this very night the grief of the people of the United States of America, and indeed the United States as a whole, which gave birth to such an outstanding human being who endeavored to enhance, as I already said, as well as preserve peace among nations. Thanks to his visit in our country, we progressed a lot. But also his decisively important role on Camp David, which ensured that both the State of Israel and Egypt would be able to put apart their enmity and enter into a friendly relationship, raising hopes for various other countries of the world. Bidding you a solemn night from my country. and sharing the grief of the people of the United States of America, as well as all other countries, especially those of the inhabitants of those countries who lost their loved ones and mourning at this very moment. I remain most humbly, respectfully, and sincerely at your service.